Welcome. My name is Taya Odutunde, and the topic of my project was privacy and security concerns. Let's get started. So the overview of my presentation is basically going to target why exactly cybersecurity is important, pinpoint how privacy is your lawful right, show you where privacy concerns arise within overlooked gadgets. We'll also see an interview on cybersecurity, and there'll be more relevant information and then the summary. So, first and foremost, why exactly is cybersecurity important? Well, number one, to protect your personal information, to protect your files from being stolen, and also try to prevent other people from breaking into your system, and also try to prevent viruses. So, let's talk about privacy. So you should know that you have the right to privacy, and that if anyone violates it, they are actually breaking the law. It is clearly written here in the U.S. Constitution, the Fourth Amendment, that the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. So throughout your daily lives, unbeknownst to you, people are freely violating your right to privacy. Let's see some examples. So a lot of us today have smartphones. Our technology is so advanced now to the point that with a tap of my finger, I can get a list of places that are near me that will show me places to eat, dine, and have fun. And I can even get step-by-step directions to them. And this is all because of geolocation, which is defined as the capability to detect and record where an individual is located using an internet-connected computer or device. How great is this future? It makes it so easy for me to get to one place to another. However, geolocation isn't always a good thing. When you leave your location settings constantly running, you leave an open door for predators and lurkers to find out where exactly you are at any given time of the day. And I would think that people would want to keep that private. So, let's shut off our location services when we don't need to figure out where nearby places to eat or have fun are located. So, following up on helpful gadgets. Whenever you meet a new person, you go through introductions and get to know each other so that the next time you meet, you don't have to reintroduce yourself. And you can pick up on a conversation you was having during your last interaction. That's pretty reasonable. That's what we all do. Well, interesting enough, that's exactly how cookies work. Cookies are a small piece of text generated by the web server and sent to the browser, also known as browsing cookies. So you know when you return to a site you tend to repeatedly go to? For example, let's use Facebook. So with Facebook, you type in your email. I'll type in mine because I repeatedly use this to recognize my email. And let's say after you put your email address, you put in the wrong password. Let's see what happens. It brings up a page that has your profile image along with your email. So here's my profile image and my email. And it tells you to re-enter your password. Well, it's able to do this because of cookies. The cookies recognize your email because it has your information stored in a file. So they were able to pull together your profile picture, have it near your email, and all that's left for you to do is type in your correct password. In fact, Facebook claims that their cookies are there to protect the security of your account. So all in all, cookies are harmless. However, it may allow third parties to gain access to whatever information you type in. So that's how some Facebook pages get hacked by random people. So by clearing your cookies regularly, you can help limit spyware and people hacking your information. Last, let's also talk about browsing history. Browsing history is a record of web pages that you have visited in the past. So we tend to overlook that this is the best way for lurkers to steal our valuable information. Our browsing history is basically pure gold to them. They get to see each and every site we want to. So here's a sample browsing history. And within it, it allows you to even click on the link provided and go directly to something that we previously closed. It could have been your itinerary on an airline site, making it easy for someone to find out about a trip you're going on. Although our browsing history makes it convenient for us to go back to a list of sites we were using on a project, we should at least clear our browsing history at the end of each day. This goes for your desktop and your smartphone. So at the end of the day, clear your browsing history so that in case if you have a virus on your computer, you won't be able to access some personal information that you may have left open if you haven't deleted your browsing history. So let's see a cybersecurity interview. This website will be open, and here is the contact page along with some contact information, availability, and here is the interview. Although you can't really hear what's being said, basically the conversation was talking about cybersecurity and the importance of how to be safe on the internet. This individual actually was talking about how she always clears her browsing history on a daily basis. Also, she has a web camera on her laptop and she tends to cover it because you never know who's watching. So here we see she takes some cardboard and she begins to cover her web camera. She then proceeds to go to her browsing history. And clears it. Yes, let's all stay safe on the internet. So returning to the presentation, let's look at some statistics. So, do you know that 20% of people have had an email or social media account hacked or taken over by someone without their permission? And of those, 11% have had personal information stolen, like their social security number, credit card, and or banking information. 73% of Americans who use the web are concerned about their online privacy. However, of those 38%, they said they didn't know how. And 46% said they don't know where to begin to secure the information. So just using these small tips that I have presented throughout this presentation are a start of how you can protect your valuable information when online. So if we go to this link, here are more relevant information. Here is clearly written about your rights to privacy. And if you go through the site, there's information, more detailed information about cybersecurity, your rights. It's also your responsibility first to make sure you protect on your information. And then more information on geolocation, cookies, and browsing history. Going back, although we have specific rights that protect us from others invading our privacy, it's still up to us to make sure we take the proper precautions so that we don't make it easy for people to steal our personal information. The most simplest gadgets on our phones and laptops that we always overlook are the very areas that create open doors for our information to be taken without our knowledge. Cookies are a simple thing that many people don't pay attention to. Although not harmful, but by not clearing them, we leave traces for sites to spam our emails or send personalized ads. Google's location services, it helps us get to places we need to go in a matter of seconds. It helps us find things to do in our area. However, keeping it constantly running can harm us. Not everyone needs to know where we are at any given time. By keeping our location services on our phones constantly running, you allow predators to easily find you. So check your privacy setting on social media and make sure only those who personally know you can see about your whereabouts. It is a start to protecting yourself. And most importantly, always clear your browsing history. Everything connects back to your browsing history, whether on your smartphone, laptops, or desktop. Always clear them. Hackers and viruses can access your browsing history and find valuable information. So let's take the right precautions and protect ourselves. Better safe than sorry.